At 5, it was a busy first full day for Governor Tina Kotek. She signed 3 executive orders aimed at tackling the homeless crisis in Oregon.
And one of those is declaring the homeless crisis a state of emergency. Fox 12's Connor McCarthy sat in on her first time in front of the media as governor and joins us live in Salem with the details on those executive orders. Connor.
Well, Pete and Riel, that executive order declaring the homeless crisis a state of emergency is the most notable out of the 3. Not only is she fulfilling a campaign promise, but she's also freeing up money and cutting red tape. But beyond the executive orders, there's also more. She wants state legislators to take up a $130 million investment package to get people off the streets as soon as possible when that regular session starts. It's day 1 for Governor Tina Kotek, and she's hitting the ground running. 3 executive orders signed, coupled with the promise Oregonians will see change under her administration.
These actions are important first steps. It's going to take collaboration and commitment across local, state, federal, and private sectors to make sure we are acting at the scale and urgency this humanitarian crisis demands.
As of Tuesday, the homeless crisis is now under a state of emergency in Oregon. The governor says an incident command structure will be set up to get people off the streets and into shelters. It's a similar structure to when local governments respond to natural disasters.
So setting up that framework that local government's very familiar with, bringing an interagency approach and collaboration from the state to work with our local partners. So not only technical assistance and leadership, but also resources.
The governor also set a new goal Tuesday, build 36,000 new homes per year. But with constraints on the construction industry because of the lack of workers, Kotek knows this is only a goal. Her new Housing Production Advisory Council will be tasked to draw up a plan that will get the state as close to that number as possible.
I've had some very helpful conversations with the private sector. Look, everybody's on board. People want to do this. They know that's the ultimate solution to the issues facing our state. So stay tuned. We'll have more details in the coming weeks.
When the legislative session starts, the governor wants lawmakers to take up her $130 million investment package as soon as possible. But details on where that money will go are still not fleshed out. Just a goal of getting 1,200 people off the streets. The Oregon League of Cities is hoping there will be a consistent cash flow from the state to help their efforts in tackling the homeless crisis.
How I see the investment that I'm talking about today in these orders is complementary to that approach. There is going to be a longer conversation in the session about their proposal.
The last executive order is to direct state agencies not headed by elected officials to prioritize getting people off the streets. The governor says this is to get the whole state government on the same page, and she promises to get voices from every corner of Oregon at the table.
I tend to do that with every approach that we take, and frankly, if we're not reaching that expectation, I want to hear about it, because this is one state. We all rise together, and I look forward to working with everybody.
Well, Pete and Riel, the governor also says that access to behavioral health programs is also a big part in trying to get people off the streets. Now, when it comes to funding everything that she's talked about today, especially with the predicted revenue to fall short of about $3 billion, the governor says just wait for her budget to come out in just a few weeks. Live in Salem, Connor McCarthy, Fox 12 Oregon.